It's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back with you here. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. We got Casey Kasem coming up here in just a second. We'll get him going. Remember American Top 40? You'll never forget this very distinguishable voice if you grew up in the last 50 years of America or anywhere around the world. That's for sure, because we got to do a little something here before we jump into Tom Sizemore. We're reaching out to him right now. The traffic situation and weather kind of put him behind the screen a little bit, getting down here to the station. So we're going to be reaching out to him in just a second. Let me know when you get Casey up. And is he ready to go? All right, hit it, man.
Hi, and welcome to American Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm all set to punch the button that starts our annual recap of the 100 biggest singles of the year just finished. We're counting down Billboard's tabulation of the 100 top hits of 1975. 8 hours worth of the most popular songs of the year.
Now on with the countdown!
Number 100 is a discotheque hit that peaked at number 10 last February. It's by Monty Rock III, known on this record as Discotheques and the Sexolettes. Get dancing!
That's right, Casey Kasem right there, American Top 40. I originally met Casey way back when I was a little kid through my godfather, Harry Newman. They were peers together, and Casey was really something. If you remember the American Top 40, he was the originator of that, perhaps the guy that was heard most than anybody else doing a countdown. He was the countdown king. And Casey Kasem was a man that was been around for a good 40 years in the radio business, doing voiceovers and commercials. He was Scooby-Doo's voice on one of my favorite cartoons, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Where Are You? Okay, great. We got Tom lined up. We'll get to him in a second. But as you know, Casey Kasem died in the year 2014, just about 4 to 5 years ago right now. And there was lots of controversy about how he died and what actually happened in the situation of his passing. And there has been many fights between the family members about who actually contributed towards Casey's eventual death, or who didn't contribute towards Casey's death. And his wife of 34 to 35 years, she is just a terrific woman. In fact, I only knew her as Casey's wife. Precedingly thereafter, I met Casey as a young radio personality and a disc jockey here in Los Angeles over the years, a couple, 2, 3, 4 times. And Janine Kasem was always, Jeannie Kasem was always with him all the time. And they were like, just two peas in a pot. And just a wonderful marriage that they had together for many, many decades. And there's a big, huge fight going on over the children of the first marriage of Casey Kasem and his wife still. They never did divorce his second wife. He passed away, and she then ensued a big battle in terms of how did Casey die. And the children of the first marriage are blaming her, and she is looking at the evidence, and with many investigators, quality investigators, have come up with new information to the degree and the point that prosecutors now have taken over the Casey Kasem homicide investigation. If you remember, 48 Hours did a big 2-hour show on this a couple of weekends ago. But now the prosecutors from the Gig Harbor Police Department, a very small police department, have turned the case over to the prosecutors. It's kind of got out of their it's got too sophisticated for them to be able to deal with a small police agency. So the prosecutors now have taken over the the case in terms of who or how did Casey Kasem die. A homicide investigation is still actually on the way. A lot of new evidence has been produced that has led towards the possibility of the children of the first marriage having some actions that took place that led to Casey Kasem's eventual death. What I know so far is that the first children took him out of the hospital that he was in after a surgery and had him go down and sign some documents in Los Angeles, and then moved him out of state. And then he died then thereafter very shortly, while his wife was what was that? Skype. Oh, that was Skype. Okay. His wife was trying to find documents here in Los Angeles and filed these papers with her attorney to bring Casey back to California, where he was being taken care of by her. And so there ensues the argument in terms of who killed Casey Kasem. And so we're going to be getting more into this as time goes on here. We're going to follow up, and we're going to look into this a little more deeply. We were hoping to have his wife on the phone here with us, but she fell ill today. It's one of those kind of days in Southern California that things are happening. So we're going to look to the future and be able to bring her on the program for about 30 minutes or so, and we'll talk about this case. But the great voice of American Top 40, ATP Top 40, man, Casey Kasem, had an estate of $80 to $100 million, and his daughter from the first marriage, which I understand has been, he kind of wrote them out of the will, excommunicated them from his life, and she's a Scientologist as well. So there's a lot of interesting facets about what is taking place here in this, and I'm glad to see that the prosecutors now, more sophisticated lawyers and attorneys, have taken this case in the hand and find out how Casey Kasem actually died. It is being investigated as a homicide as we speak. So we want you to stay tuned for that, and we'll be talking more about that as time goes on. This is Jesse T on the Jesse T Show. We are broadcasting live on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, as well as we are broadcasting on Instagram live at Jesse Terrero, and also YouTube, Jesse Terrero. The Power of Voices on YouTube and Facebook, as well as www.thepowerofvoices.com, and about 20 other social media TV networks and online radio all around the world. Good to have you along with me. It's the Jesse T Show.